The Hot Pot 6, no. Y'all, trust me when I tell you, that is a very special diss record.
Nah, Will Smith is set to pop out.
What you talking about, man? We vote for Trump.
Mal, is he a trash podcaster? That's something everyone has wondered since his split from Joe Budden. Like many greats in their respective field, those around them are often questioned. Are they being competent by their own merit, or are they being carried by proximity to exceptionalism? Well, that's up for debate, as there is a few undeniable traits Mal has that elevated both the Joe Budden podcast and New Rory and Mal. His lighthearted approach to most conversations and lack of need for the spotlight allowed for his co-host to shine brightly. While Joe and Mal did eventually fall out over money issues, it never seemed like he felt any type of way about being a marginalized voice on the Joe Budden podcast. Additionally, Mal seems content with allowing Rory to take the lead on podcast segments and even skits. However, there's another side of Mal. One that seems utterly disgusted at the very same field that has made him so much money and elevated his social status, podcasting. He regularly downplays the medium and even finds it odd to ask people for interviews.
So to be clear, I never ever text anybody to be on their show and they didn't respond to me. That
I did mix it up because I
happened. Yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because that just came across crazy. Like niggas be leaving me on red and I be trying to do interviews and they be like, nah.
Oh, you've never been left on red before by somebody?
Asking them to be on their show?
It was in this conversation that I sat back and really thought, Mal is not capable of growth. As for years, I still wonder why Rory and Mal haven't done an interview with a big hip-hop media platform. And I'm 100% sure it's because of Mal.
Why don't you go on the big platforms? You're always going on these smaller podcasts, Figmunity, Mandy and Weezy. They're a big podcast, but
yeah, they are.
In comparison to, Nori, Drink Champs, Gillian Wallow, why aren't you going on Breakfast Club? People would love to see you on that.
I can name them, and I'll give you a story for each one.
How about $1 Million Worth of Game? I remember when Ack was there dissing you and Mal, they kind of, Wallow was like, chill. It seemed like they have some type of...
honestly didn't even see that. I didn't know he dissed us on... I didn't watch the Academics $1 Million Worth of
passing,
Game.
like,
gotcha, okay.
type of thing.
Another one, I see Wallow every now and then. I don't really see Gilly that much. I thank them for having us headline Roots Picnic 2 years ago. I believe Mal reached out and was left on red. So I don't know. That's another one that like I'm just keep blowing you up to.
Mal's street ethics and undying support of a code that has no real basis in human life simply cannot allow him to talk about topics he finds beneath him. On top of that, he knows that his former confidant Joe Budden will be mentioned, and any interview they do will unlock another back and forth that he wants to put behind him. Then there's the other part that caused a great backlash against Mal, his unwavering support for Donald Trump. Initially, many thought his support was merely a trolling of an audience, but as Julian, the producer of the Rory and Mal podcast, would reveal, Mal is 100% a supporter of Trump.
I hate Trump. I want to put that out there. Like, I know Mal loves that guy. I don't. He's a
really
idiot.
Genuine love for Mal. Does he really rock?
Yeah,
with
he
Trump?
fucks with Trump.
But you're not. This is not.
No, I'm not joking. Like, he
WWE
likes Trump.
storyline?
No. That would be fun.
Yeah, because I thought it was. Me kind of thinking. I didn't know. So you've had maybe conversations about this outside of the podcast where he's.
Yeah, off mic, I think. Yeah, sure. I also don't not trying to get too political with Mal because of how much I disagree with that. But it is what it is. I don't give a shit.
All right.
He also doesn't vote, so that's you know what I mean.
Okay.
Perhaps Mal's greatest failure here is his inability to back up why he supports Trump. I would surmise that that's Mal's greatest flaw as a podcaster. He doesn't really have any real substance when discussing most subjects, but yet so vehemently believes anything he says. What Maul believes is what he thinks should be the law of the land, and rarely ever seeks to understand the other side of arguments, which is deeply frustrating as a listener. Still, it's important to remember that Donald Trump, prior to his presidential campaign, was adored by hip-hop artists, with countless references to his billionaire philandering ways and classic songs.
Soon to be paid like Donald Trump. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in.
Boys in the hood call me Black Donald Trump.
While he remains very divisive, it's very clear that Maul isn't the only supporter of Trump within the urban media landscape. But it isn't only Maul's Trump support that made him lose favor with his audience. His support of Drake is what led to a deep hatred of any position that he would take. From the onset of Drake versus Kendrick, Maul would be unapologetic in his support of Drake.
That nigga just did 87 cities and he talking to y'all like that.
But as the tide of public opinion changed, Maul refused to believe that his industry friend had taken a sound defeat. This caused perhaps the greatest castigation of Maul's character, as many unhinged fans would develop deep hatred for Maul, who believed that Drake won no matter what anyone said. Still, is Maul the trash podcaster? That's a complicated question, as while he is a deeply flawed conversationalist who doesn't have many pathways to develop understanding, he still resonates with audiences deeply, which is more important. He makes people hate him, he makes people laugh, and while Rory has grown as a podcaster, it's unknown if he could ever lead a podcast by himself and maintain anywhere near the same audience as New Rory and Maul. To end this, I would say Maul is far from a trash podcaster, even if he has trash approaches to dialogue. I would like to highlight one thing, however. In my sit down with Rory, I did often wonder how involved was Maul in the running of the podcast. I truly think Rory is the one administering most of the admin and making decisions, with Maul more and more looking like a talent. I mean, look at the cast. It largely seems to be Rory's friends, Damaris, Eden, Julian. Where is Maul's input on many of the decisions? And it seems so apparent that their former maniacal A-Mike friend has said that Rory will eventually leave Maul. The future of Rory and Maul is up in the air, but then again, whose future isn't up in the air with regards to podcasting? As iHeart just revealed that their podcast revenue has slowed, but that's a conversation for another day. Well, let me know what you think, listeners. I do think Maul brings a lot to the table, even if he's hated, and it's important to remember that if you are opposed to Joe Budden, you will have a lot of fans that will simply hate you just because of that. So it's hard to really gauge anybody in the Joe Budden verse that has fallen out with him, because the fan support of Joe will make it seem like everybody is trash who left him. I will probably do another one of these reviews of podcasters. Like, I want to review Rory, I want to review Joe, I want to review everybody and give them kind of like a assessment of their podcasting style. But if there's anybody else you want me to do, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I think this is a cool series that I want to explore upon. Alright, y'all, that's it for this video. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.
Love me, hold me.